Alright, so here's the parts we need. We need the 3.5 gallon black bucket. So we're going to start. We need the 12-inch plastic dome that they use for dogs to look out fences. Let's see, we're going to need 3 of the 3D printed brackets for the bucket. This plug cap. You're going to need the 3 screws that came with the lens and 6 screws to mount the guys here to the bucket. Tools wise, screw gun. You're going to need a drill with a hole saw, 1.75 inch, and I'm using a multi-tool, which is going to be used to cut the rim of the bucket, and a little 3/32 drill bit to go with my screws, a Phillips screwdriver for hand, and a small piece of sandpaper. Aside from that, that's pretty much what you need to put it together. Alright, so we got our normal 3.5 gallon bucket. I'm going to simply take off the handle, just kind of pulling it out, because we don't need to. Throw that away. And I'm going to take a multi-tool. I've got a wood blade on it, it's fine. We're just going to cut right along the top of this ridge, which is going to shorten it a couple inches. Left with. I'm going to throw that away. Just grab some sandpaper. I think this is what is this? Yeah, it's 120. It doesn't really matter. I'm just getting rid of the burrs from not cutting it straight. Just lightly go over it. Like that. And now we got a bucket. It's a little bit shorter. 1.75 inch hole saw. Just kind of lining it up right down where the handle used to be, down along the bottom. You can kind of see the little lip in the plastic where the bottom is, because it does extend down. So you want to be up above that a little bit, but right on the bottom. Just go slow at it. And as you can see, I went right down the bottom and cut it slowly, but I want any water or condensation that does hit down there just to roll right on out. All right, assembly time. I've got the 3 screws that came with the dome. I got 6 screws that I found in the box downstairs. I'll figure out what those are and put it in the links. And then these are the 3D printed brackets for the bucket. So this is kind of tedious, but we're going to do it anyway. Take the bracket, set the lens on top of it, line up the hole right there, and we're going to grab one of the screws that came with it, and we're going to screw that in. Basically just to hold it on there, finger tight. We're going to spin it around and do the same thing on the second hole. And this will all make sense why I'm kind of doing this. You're going to end up pulling some things apart. Now let's try that again. Like that. You're going to put 2 of them together. You're going to end up wanting to hold it, because the screw's going to make it spin. So when you get it right, you're going to have 2 that are going to be lined up nicely around it. Leave the third one off. The whole point of doing that is that when you lay it on the bucket, you're going to slide it, because those 3D printed brackets have those little pieces in there, like that. So I got 2 of them, and now I can put the third one on. And screw that down. Now, if you wanted, you could stop there, because you can see that it's sitting on there, but that isn't how I want to do it. So I'm going to take this one, I'm going to line it up, I got a small 3/32 drill bit. I'm going to drill through the 2 holes of the bracket into the bucket. In order to figure out where those are at, like I said, this is the tedious part because you got to undo it, you got to put it back together, mess around with it. So unscrew it, let it drop, pull the top off, set it off to the side. I got a screw or a Phillips bit, and I'm going to attach this to the bucket. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to put the screw in, finger there, and I'm going to line it up to the hole in the bracket. And that's going to secure the bracket. Put the second one in there. That. Maybe strip that one a little bit, but it's fine. So I got one of them in there. Now to get the placement of the others, I'm going to slide the top back on. And I'm going to put this screw back in. Swap back out to the bit. Now here's one little thing I figured out on the others. When you're doing that, when you're doing this next part, try to line it up so these buckets kind of form in and out and they mess around, they deform. So you want to look and try to get the bucket so that it's centered on there nicely, because it's right on the edge. And then you're going to drill through the other 2 brackets. And I'm going to go over once again, trying to keep the bucket nice and centered with the piece. Then, once again, the bracket that you already screwed down, take it off. And then the others, now it's time to pull the other 2 brackets off. So what I did is I just assembled it so that I could get a pattern on where to put the screw holes for the brackets. Takes a little bit of time, but I like it that way. Now I'm going to attach the brackets to the other spots, just as I did the other one. I'm going to put in my screw, swap out my bit, line it up. There's one. So I'm building 9 of these, and I will say that every time it gets faster. Luckily, I still got another 4 or 5 to go. So when you're done with this step, you should have a bucket with the 3 brackets. You got the hole down here, which we'll cover in a second. We're going to set this back on top, and you don't have to screw it together right now. Obviously you want to put the light in it and do all that kind of stuff, but because I'm building 9, I'm trying to keep all my hardware in one piece and make sure it looks good. So I'm going to put the 3 screws back in it. Sure everything lined up the way I want, which it is. And now you got a bucket with a hat clamped all together, nice and perfect. We're ready to put the light in it, feed the cords through, and put the plug on. Little plug that we 3D print for that. And then it's ready to go outside and you're good to go. Alright, we're on to final assembly. Ended up picking up some 3/8 inch wide by 1/8 inch foam with adhesive back, and I'm going to put it around the ring of the bucket. I'm not trying to make this thing perfectly watertight. I'm just trying to keep the water out of it. Here in Iowa, we have snow and light rain in November, December. Nothing crazy. No tornadoes this time of year, but just gonna lay this thing around. Also makes it look a little nicer. Don't stretch it, just lay it on there with a slight bend. It's got pretty good adhesive. I'll have a link to all the stuff I used, just like everybody does. Just lay it in there, and when you get to the end, grab a pair of scissors and cut it so that it matches. Pull apart, get rid of that, and just lay it in there. So, nice little foam gasket, so to speak. All right, now we're on to cabling and laying the moving head in there. So this is the little moving head. You've already seen this by U-King. Before you put it in and hook it up, don't forget to power it up and set your DMX address, because it is a pain to do so after you get it in the bucket. Go ahead and feed the wire up through the bucket and plug it in to the back of the fixture, and then you're going to grab 2 DMX cables of whatever length you want, depending on where you're going to place them. Feed in one side of it, the male end, and the other cable you're going to feed the opposite end, because the DMX goes in and out between them. And you're going to plug it into the other side. So you got your DMX, you got your power, make sure it's on, because like I said, once you set it in there, you're not going to want to have to mess with it again. So then you're going to take the little guy and you're going to slowly set him down in there. This is probably not how they're supposed to be held, but that's how I'm doing it. And as you slide them down, just kind of pull the wires out. And I'm orienting it so that the wires are coming straight out the back where the holes are at. So kind of hard to see in the camera, but the orientation is such that the light is pointed that way, and then the connections are on the back with the hole there. And it's pushed all the way to the front, so you're not really pulling on the wires or anything, and it's got nice movement inside the bucket. Next part takes a little bit of muscle. Lay the cord such that the power cord is in the middle, and then the other 2 are around the end. Just kind of push in a little bit of excess, and I'm on kind of a slick surface here on the counter, but I'm going to kind of lay that down like that, and I'm going to take my end cap that was 3D printed, and that guy is going to go on there. You're going to reach down the back, and like I said, this is made to be tight, but you're going to push that in. Said it's a little tight, but you will hear it snap. Well, maybe not this one. I've already done 4 of them, and it works just fine. Hey, there it went. All right, so it's sitting there. There it is. All right, so the wires should be able to lightly pull in and out, which they do. You can kind of do it. Once again, I'm trying to keep a little bit of a gap underneath there to allow any water that does go down in just to exit out. Keep the projector like that. And then you're going to grab, make sure you clean off with the included towel that came with it. Make sure you clean off the inside before you put it together. But you're going to grab the screws and you're going to do a final assembly. Screws back in, they'll line up kind of nice. One more. Third one, you always gotta kind of stretch the bucket to make it round again. It does go. And then don't over tighten them, it just needs to be snug. You don't want to strip them, don't need to be. And that's it. Now you're ready to put it in the yard, hook it up, program it.